What's up, brothers and sisters? Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there and the people bearing children of America so we can keep on doing what we do, which is being the best place in the history of the earth. I love you guys. Happy Mother's Day. We've got things to do. Let's get to work. Very interesting week in the stock market, even though it was just a consolidation week, right? When you look at the indexes, you're thinking, wow, just a consolidation week. What's the big deal? It was a big deal. So we had all this. Market didn't even move. But if you really look at the overall picture of the market, market breadth was going through the roof, right? Market breadth was going through the roof, rising every day. The number of breakouts versus breakdowns were also look at market breadth, right? Number of breakouts. We had 800 and something breakouts previous days. We have so much action happening here, right? The number of breakouts versus breakdowns, just key. So even though the indices seemed like they didn't do much, there was some really nice heat all over the place. Look, TAN, that's your solars up 8%. Gold miners, right? You have just endless. Bitcoin, right? Making this big mamma jamma of a run, reaching right back into all-time highs. I think that's got, we got all this heat. Guys, if Bitcoin's running, solars are running, there's spec money out there, the market is bullish. You can't fight that. There's nothing more speculative than solars, crypto stocks, right? That's telling you there's some real action in the market, and it's you can ignore the indices, right? They're digesting. But I find throughout the history of my trading career that when the market goes flat after a big bullish period, oftentimes that is when the market itself can have the best breakouts. And look, there's all these left for dead stocks that are going, dude, this SETIG was $10-12 just a little bit ago, right? Just doubling, right? Even these big turds like ENPH and stuff like that, just, that look like they're in big downtrends, they're starting to reverse, right? You see a turd like QBTS, right? I think they did I forgot the announcement was $36 million in revenue, and it was a one-time charge too, I believe, right? And he's just huge, it doubled, right? There's spec money out there. And so we got to respect that. There was some good action going. Yeah, if you're sitting there, circle jerking it over what's happening with NVIDIA, then, maybe you're okay, the market was just doing whatever. But you take out all that kind of stuff, and you got good stuff happening here. And so we want to be a part of that. There is some really good action. Let's get into the watch list. I got a big, beautiful watch list that we can go through. So let's start with just some basics, right? Lyft. Big candle here on earnings, 108 million shares in volume. You get an all-day long trender on this. This is the type of stock you want to day trade. When you're, as a day trader, you're looking for news, you're looking for breakouts, and really you're looking for, right, momentum and stuff like that. And this is right up our alley. This is where we want to be. If we get a week open on a stock like this tomorrow, you start moving down, say 16 or something, I think we want to try to get in on this. TTD, awesome earnings breakout. This is the type of bottoming plays we're looking for. Stocks that are up, down 50% or more since, the market crashed over, and now they're rebounding. They've had bases, they've got catalysts, and they're starting to make their moves. TTD is another one we need to add to the watch list. I already talked about SETIG. I think there's a short squeeze happening in this one. The volume's been picking up too. It's acted pretty well. You want to be watching this one only on dips though, because it is up a few days in a row. But let's see if it kind of reconstitutes over here. I think that could be a good spot. NBIS, I have this one for a swing. We've been talking about this one for a while. Big breakout here. I think probably, on Monday, it's a good time to peel some out. But I think you've still got some ways to go on this. If it can hold. QBTS, this thing's an ultimate turd. I mean, it really is. I think their revenues were like 30 mil or whatever. And I think even those were suspect. But price action is price action. Like whatever you think about a stock is like whatever, right? We can read, we can learn, but in the end, it's like, what is the price action? That's the only thing that matters. And we've got ourselves, right, like a huge breakout in this. Tesla, dude, we ripped a hot one on this on Friday. God, man, the zero DTs on this thing, I think we're like, I don't even know, man. Let me see. The zero DTs on this were so, I mean, we got these things. I think we bought like literally in the first few seconds, you know, right when it was crossing over 290. I mean, the zero DTs on this thing were like 60, 75 cents. I was out of this thing by the time it hit 3. I mean, holy shit. I think they went close to 10. Man, I fucked up bad. But, I mean, still, like, it was a hot trade. Like, a great way to just end, you know, your Fridays or whatever. Your Friday or whatever. But, yeah, they kept going. Because they got to 305. So, yeah, you probably had, they got to, like, 9 or 10. I mean, it was a 10-bagger just for, like, a day trade. It was pretty sick. But I was out of here by 3. I'm a piker. You know how Indian people are, man. We sell early. We need the money. It's just what we do. I think this is still in play here. What are you going to do? Awesome look. Aklo. 2 inside days. So you had to pop 1, 2, 3 inside days. Watch and see how this thing reacts around this 29. I think that's going to be the trigger. If you're a swing trader, it also looks like a swing trading type of stock. Roblox, we've been talking about this one. There's a 75 breakout here. You're marinating right at this 9 EMA. You start to break the trend line. So I think this thing can kind of creep up to 75. And then if it breaks that, then you've got a little bit more cheese on it. RGTI, awesome look on this thing too. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. Also big gelatinous turd, this stock. But what are you going to do, man? It's got the look. It's got the boots. It's got the coots. It's got the butts. It's got the cuts. Bumble. This is the type of move, right? Like this thing was $100, right? You're under $1 billion market cap now. From what I've been reading, it's not that Bumble doesn't work and nobody wants to do it, but you know, this new age of people, they're not really into sex. They don't drink. They don't really want to make babies. You know, they're not into like opposite people. Like, hey, I'm a guy. I like girls. There's like this weird stuff going on, right? With the, is it what's after Gen Z? Gen Z and whatever's after, right? So I don't think there's probably, Bumble's probably still the hottest app around, man. I used to use that thing nonstop doing super boosts on it. But now, you know, because people are like, hey, you know, if I have sex with somebody, it's kind of dirty. Is it mean? Is it nice? I don't know. Do I do it right? Do I not do it right? Who knows, right? Who fucking knows? But I think this thing has got a little chance on it. QBTS also, you got to push. Dude, if the market busts over, then you've got to break out on TSM over the 200-day moving average. Uber, this is a swing, potential swing entry for me. I had a little bit of a run on this before, and then, you know, as this thing is starting to pull back, if I can get somewhere in here into the bone zone, and then it kind of remounts this breakout spot, I think that's a good spot for me. You know, when you're swinging, it's often a little bit better to get on a small pull. I think Hood, this is like, you know, it needs a pull now. You need to back and fill this area. I don't think you can never buy a stock after 4 big green days. Like, you got to leave it alone. This is something I'm interested in. So this is a classic inside day setup. So you had this big push on Cadell. We went from 28 down to 36.96, right? And look at the tight narrow range day, a really low volume, right? But just no range. So you move $10, and now you're moving around like 50 cents. That's an inside day. That's a hottie with the body right there. Let's get a little piece of that. FSLY, same thing, right? After the big push, it's like a really narrow range day. Been watching this one. This one is not a good day trader. ATR is too low, but I've been eyeballing this one for potential swing. Nvidia, spot, these are all good. Junk. This I'm interested in. So, Dutch Oven, Dutch Bros, something along that end. Big push on earnings. Now, look. You got nice, easy range on this over here. Real tight. That is going to be just, you know, That's going to be a nice spot on this. If you can go in and come out of this and take out this previous day's high, I mean, you're in it. Palantir, I think we want to be gearing up for the flat top breakout on this, which is up here. Any kind of intraday, or momentarily weakness on this, as long as it holds the 20, I want to come in and really nail this thing down for the big mama jamma breakout. You can do some long dated calls. You can do some, shares. It doesn't really matter. It's going to move pretty well. Bum, 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 bum. Coins that are under. I had high hopes for coin, but it didn't do anything. Same thing. I was thinking maybe RKLB could do something after earnings, but it didn't do anything. We didn't take any trade on it, but that's something. That's that it wasn't the reaction we want. Now this also I'm kind of curious on. So CoreWeave was something I was watching for the breakout. 7% a little bit heftier of a pullback than I want. I didn't see what the news was on this, but I'm interested if it opens weak tomorrow. If it opens weak tomorrow, does it hold into this bone zone here? If it does, then I think we kind of flip it back for that third tap. If it doesn't, then, it's just a leave alone. Guys, beyond that, like it's earnings season, there's going to be gappers and all sorts of stuff to do. So, be mindful of that. If you're a swing trader, check out some of these, little security stocks. They're doing like nice high tight flags. Before they kind of run into their bigger breakup, but something like that could be nice, or right, like you could see the ZS has got a nice look to it. So you have Palantir, you have ZS. I think Oklo could even be a potential swing. So you got a couple of these kind of nice trenders that to keep an eye on, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I love you guys. Dude, let's go make some money tomorrow. Peace in the Middle East.